discussed Canada's asylum system. More broadly, can you tell the committee how the government works with the provinces and territories to ensure that supports for asylum claimants are managed in a way that is both responsible and aligned with capacity on the ground? And that's to whoever wishes to answer.
Thank you for the question. We have very close working relationships with the provinces and territories, most often positive, but obviously there are tensions between the systems. Supports for asylum seekers tend to fall between both the federal and the provincial government in terms of coordinating. And so with the rise of asylum seekers in the last number of years leading up until the period we're currently in where we're seeing declines, that obviously strained the resources for some municipalities and some provinces. And so through a body, the federal ministers responsible for immigration, we continue to coordinate our efforts to try to align those resources. As the minister spoke about earlier, obviously we have provided funding to various municipalities and some provinces to support their infrastructure. And work to try and coordinate not just sort of how do we provide relief in the moment, but how do we work together to reduce reliance on those systems as quickly as possible as people progress through the system. So a lot of the resources that we've invested have been directed at building capacity in the recent years.
Perfect. And on enforcement, there have been claims that individuals who do not have a legal right to remain in Canada are not being removed in a timely manner. Can you outline the processes in place to ensure that decisions are being enforced and how the system maintains credibility through both fair hearings and appropriate follow-through process?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously removals are the purview of CBSA, and so I'm sure they would be able to offer more detail on that. But what I can say is the removal process itself from the time someone is deemed to need to be removed, they have access to the IRB and as well to the courts after that, should they feel that their circumstances warrant a review from an outside body. Once they've exhausted those options, then CBSA would work with international partners in some cases to ensure that we have the capacity to then remove them to their country of origin.
And given some of the concerns and misinformation that we've heard, what would you want Canadians to understand about how the asylum system is functioning today and how it ensures that it remains compassionate and well managed?
I mean, I think Canada has a long tradition of offering humanitarian compassion to people who need protection. That's a reputation that Canada has fought hard to preserve. I think we all recognize the system, though, is under strain, and so we have taken significant steps to address some of the causes of those strains, and we're seeing that now in terms of the significant reductions in the last year and a half in terms of asylum claimants coming to Canada, while not sacrificing access to due process and the entitlements that people have. Obviously, as you all know, C-12 introduces some additional measures that will strengthen our ability to ensure that the limited resources we have for asylum are focused on the cases that most require it, and to ensure that we continue to evolve the system so that it's targeting the people who absolutely need Canada's protection.
And as you know, Budget 2025 included a one-time initiative to convert protected persons in Canada to permanent residents, in addition to the levels plan allocations. Could you clarify why this measure was introduced and what it means for Canadians?
Just under 1 minute.
Okay. So very quickly, protected persons in Canada are people who've already been deemed by either the IRB or another process to warrant Canada's protection. Their case has been reviewed and they've been determined to warrant our protection. Because of the limited space that we have in the levels plan, converting people from that category, the protected persons in Canada category to permanent residents, takes a long time. And so this one-time initiative will basically offer the opportunity to address the backlog of people waiting for PR in that category specifically, and bring resolution to their situation in a more expedited way.